Hello there, everybody. This is Dr. Jack Bielitz. Welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. Jack Show.
Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Jack's assistant Aaliyah, and it is parent-teacher conference time. So right now we are talking about ADD, ADHD, because we tend to see a lot of diagnoses happen after that first parent-teacher conferences, where sometimes it's suggested that your child is taken in for an assessment. So we talked about what those assessment looks like. We talked about some other things that people can try, and today we're going to talk a little bit about another great treatment that people don't think to try.
You know, it's called network spinal, and basically what it comes down to is there's a huge increase in the number of kids over the last few years that are being diagnosed with this ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just rampant anymore. And the number of kids on these meds is just crazy. And, you know, it just really tears your heart apart when you think about it, because, you know, if you start the kids on these drugs now, you know, at what point do you get them off? And, you know, what do these drugs actually do? I mean, they literally, you know, shut your brain down. They don't let you feel any emotion, you know? And so, you know, looking for alternatives is an important aspect into what's going on. In order to look at alternatives, you have to kind of understand what the process is of where the problem is coming from. And what has changed over the last few years, I think the biggest thing is stress. You know, the amount of mental emotional stress that kids are under today versus 15, 20 years ago is just astronomically huge. We've got single parent families, we've got potential divorce situations, we've got the internet, we've got all this stuff. So we've got all these different stresses, and yet the activity level of our kids is way down because of all the video games. And so, you know, the time that you could use to blow off that stress is just not there anymore. You know, nobody wants to go out and play. Everybody wants to get on Fortnite and, you know, do all the other fun stuff, which, you know, I get it. That's where all their friends are. And, you know, you can literally these days have friends from all over the world while you're sitting here. I mean, the world has shrunk so much with the advent of all this technology. But by the same token, our bodies weren't made for it. And so when you have all that stress, it puts so much tension on the spinal cord, which then affects how your brain works. And so we've got to get to the bottom of that. We've got to get some of that tension off of the spinal cord. And that is where this network spinal does amazing jobs. Now, you've seen a lot of the results from, you know, what has happened to kids.
Yeah, there's a big difference when kids start kind of effectively dealing with the stress that builds up in their nervous system, as opposed to kids that aren't doing that. I know for me, it really turned my daughter's health around. She went from being that sick allergy kid to, I don't know, she hasn't been on an antibiotic in 5 years. So,
you know, it is absolutely incredible, you know? So there are so many amazing things out there that don't require these drugs that can literally shift these symptoms of, and because I don't want to call it a disease because, you know, it's not really a disease, it's just a group of symptoms, but it can literally shut down these symptoms so well, so amazingly well. It's crazy. And, you know, just want to let people know that there are things out there, and the diagnosis of what we need to do is so scientific. With the computerized technology we have in this office, we can do a simple, you know, computer scan and get some really good ideas as to whether or not this is part of the problem that's promoting the symptoms in your child. And so it's time to take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's alternatives to try before you resort to the medications. And you know, if you want to learn more, comment below, email us, contact us.
Share this with people that might not be getting this, that might have a kid that needs help. And it's so important to do this. And, you know, next week we're going to talk about more of this in an adult aspect too, and that's a very important part that a lot of people don't realize is even there. So stay tuned to next week, share this, like this, comment. Let's get this message out there so that we can get some of these kids off these drugs.
That's right.
Anyway, stay healthy, Omaha.